On December 5, 1872, some 400 miles east of the Azores, the British merchant ship Dei Grazia made an unsettling discovery. The crew saw a ship in the distance that appeared to be in peril. It was the Mary Celeste, a merchant sailing ship filled with the industrial alcohol that had set sail from New York on November 7th, intended for Genoa. She carried 8 crew members as well as her captain, Benjamin S. Briggs, his wife Sarah, and their 2-year-old daughter Sophia. But the crew, the captain, and his family had all vanished. Stick with us and watch this video till the end to know all about the Mary Celeste ghost ship. Let's begin. When the Mary Celeste was built in 1861 in the shipyards on Spencer Island in Nova Scotia, Canada, it was originally named the Amazon. It launched the same year as the American Civil War. The brigantine Mary Celeste was 31 meters in length, 7.6 meters in width, and displaced 285 tons of water. However, she has always been under the spell of some evil power for unknown reasons since her launch. During her first years of existence, she was involved in multiple mishaps and underwent numerous ownership changes. On her inaugural trip, captained by John Parker, the ship sustained significant hull damage after colliding with a fishing dam off the coast. Mary Celeste needed extensive repairs at the shipyards. Parker's command was terminated later when a fire broke out at the shipyards. During her maiden Atlantic journey, she collided with a ship which sank in the Straits of Dover. Mary Celeste needs repairs once again. On her way back to America, she got aground off the coast of Cow Bay, Nova Scotia. After being rescued from the rocks, she passed through the hands of several owners. Nobody turned a profit. In fact, several of them declared bankruptcy. Finally, an American, James Winchester, bought her. James paid $3,000 for her at a salvage auction in New York. She underwent substantial repairs and renovations. When she returned, the ship looked entirely different and bore little relation to the Amazon. Her given name was altered to Mary Celeste. On November 7, 1872, Mary Celeste left New York City. She was carrying 1,701 barrels of raw commercial alcohol worth around $35,000 and was fully insured. Surprisingly, after nearly a month at sea, a British Empire warship called Dei Grazia discovered the Mary Celeste between the Azores and Portugal on December 4, 1872. Despite the fact that she was still sailing, she appeared abandoned. There was no one on board. So what might have caused such a mysterious abandonment? The weather was pleasant, and she had enough food and water for 6 months. The crew were all highly capable and trustworthy sailors. Personal things, including jewelry, were unharmed. Perhaps more noteworthy is what was missing: Captain Briggs' sextant, chronometer, and navigation book, as well as the ship's registration, were all missing. This implied an orderly ship abandonment. Briggs had at least enough time to walk below deck and get his navigational equipment before boarding the lifeboat. Here are some speculations and theories behind the mystery of Mary Celeste. Some suspected that the Mary Celeste had been captured by North African pirates operating in the vicinity. The pirates would have executed everyone on board and thrown their remains overboard. However, no similar incidents of piracy were documented in the Straits of Gibraltar during this time period or in the previous decade. This might be because the British Navy was stationed there. Even if there was piracy, it is difficult to assume that the pirates would spare all of the crew members' personal and precious items. Nobody appears to have touched the cargo. There is also no evidence of violence on the ship. Another story was that the crew of the ship Dei Grazia, which recovered the abandoned Mary Celeste, killed everyone on board and then made up the ghost ship narrative to claim salvage rights. However, this appears to be quite unlikely. Mary Celeste showed no signs of struggle. Second, Dei Grazia left 1 week after Mary Celeste could not have caught up. Briggs also had a close relationship with Morehouse, the captain of the Dei Grazia. Sure, the fact that the crew of the Dei Grazia stood to profit financially from the loss of everyone on board the Mary Celeste was cause for concern. However, after more than 3 months of harsh, bewigged British investigation, the court found no proof of foul play. They weren't completely convinced though, because the Dei Grazia only received 1/6 of the Mary Celeste's $46,000 insurance coverage. However, the matter was settled, and each Dei Grazia crew member received around $830. Some speculated that the entire incident was staged in order to file a false insurance claim, but Morehouse of Dei Grazia would have to conspire with Briggs to make that happen. While this was conceivable, none of them owned the ship Mary Celeste. James Winchester was the proprietor. Furthermore, the insurance value is extremely low, so such a planned and orchestrated deed for such a small sum is quite unlikely. It is true that when the Dei Grazia crew rescued the Mary Celeste, they discovered a lot of water between the decks and around 3.5 feet of water in the hold. Furthermore, 2 of the 3 water pumps were discovered to be dismantled, with only one operating. This gave rise to the hypothesis that the Mary Celeste was battered by a violent storm while sinking. With Santa Maria in sight of the date of the last log entry, Briggs may have ordered the new crew to leave while he still had the opportunity to make shore with the lifeboat. However, there are flaws in this theory as well. There had been no reports of such a storm in that part of the Atlantic at the time Mary Celeste was discovered deserted. Furthermore, the water level was insufficient for a captain to command an evacuation. The ship was still capable of sailing. However, because of Briggs' own family was on board, he may have been particularly careful. Then, why didn't they all return and tell everybody the story? 9 of the 1,701 alcohol barrels were discovered to be empty. As a result of Briggs' tyranny throughout the years, it was speculated that the crew members would have consumed all of its booze, become intoxicated, and murdered the captain and his family. Sounds promising, but it is improbable. Briggs was regarded as a capable and well-behaved captain. Furthermore, he was never seen drinking alcohol and hence would not have let crew members to do so on board. Modern-day Captain David Williams explained the tremor by claiming that there was an earthquake beneath the sea. The 9 barrels would have become displaced as a consequence and the alcohol would have been spilled. That explains the barrels that were empty. The crew members were startled by the rumbling of the sea and jumped onto a smaller sailing dinghy boat. Later, they tried, but failed to catch up with Mary Celeste, who perished at sea. This too appears to be intriguing. The crew of the Dei Grazia, on the other hand, reported no rumbling or aftershocks. During that period, no earthquakes were observed in the neighboring Portuguese islands or the Azores. A potential explosion triggering Mary Celeste's desertion appears to be the most plausible of all the explanations. However, it comes with its own caveat. This theory was offered by James Winchester, the owner of the Mary Celeste himself. The 9 barrels of alcohol which were found empty were made of red oak and not of white oak. Like the other non-empty barrels, red oaks are more permeable in general. Alcohol might have slowly leaked through them. Alcohol vapor would have formed in the hold as a result. The barrels would have been brushed against each other because they were connected together with steel bands. The friction in the steel bands triggered a spark, which could have resulted in an explosion. Captain Briggs would have panicked when he saw a strong flow of gases and fumes and ordered the crew to instantly board their lifeboats. In their haste, the crew could not connect their lifeboat to the ship with a thick rope. A strong wind would have blown them away, and they were all drowned or died of starvation or harsh weather. The counter-argument to this idea is that when Mary Celeste was saved, no one could smell alcohol vapors or observe any fire damage outside the pool. Who knows if the 9 barrels were indeed loaded, empty in New York? Many additional theories have emerged throughout the years, some insightful and some ridiculous. According to one version, the crew abandoned the ship owing of sea tornadoes. Another stated that the ship was anchored at a moving sandbar, and the crew believed that they were in a terrible situation, used a lifeboat, and were lost at sea, until the sandbar shifted again, freeing the ship. However, no explanation has been provided that substantiates the Mary Celeste abandonment with proof of facts. There is a lot of story about the Mary Celeste that we'll never know. Too much time has passed, too many records lost, and everyone involved is totally dead by now. Death may be final, but the idea of vanishing from time and space captures the imagination, just as the vast unknown of the open ocean does. It is a place where things like that can happen. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. What are your thoughts about the Mary Celeste ship? Let us know in the comments down below. Please make sure to check out these other videos from us as well. Links to those are given in the description. Please subscribe to our channel for more content like this, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any of our new videos. See you in the next one. Thanks for watching.